Okay, here's our batch of chestnuts that we are either going to roast in the oven or by the fire, and you want them in their shell for one reason or another. What you do is you get your paring knife now. This is not a job for the chef's knife, and instead of that silly X, you just take your sharp paring knife and you make one simple diagonal cut through the tip of the nut. That's it. Done. And the reason the cut is diagonal is because every once in a while you will have a chestnut that has two membranes inside, and if you don't pierce both membranes, it may explode, which you definitely do not want to have happen. They go off like little bombs. It used to be actually a game for teenagers, back before we had the internet. They would put chestnuts in the fire and bet kisses on whose chestnut would explode first. I really think we should bring that custom back. But in general, unless you're looking for them to explode, you have to pierce them. So this is all you need to do. After we've got these pierced with that one cut, we are going to put them here on our stove top, which will do for us the same thing as the by the fire does. And then we'll show you how to get them out of here after they are roasted. You can roast chestnuts by the fire. We tend to roast them on our wood stove top. Any very hot surface like that will do. Or you can take these and put them into your 350, 375 degree oven. The time it takes them to cook depends precisely on the size of the nut. If the nut is small, it cooks faster. If it's big, it cooks longer, and you have to make some adjustment for that when you're doing it. They also, when you've got one-sided heat like this, you have to turn the nuts periodically so that they cook on both sides. And this is anytime you are roasting chestnuts, this is a job where you probably need an adult if you really want them to get roasted properly. Otherwise, you wind up with nuts that are either not cooked or nuts that are burned. You have to have some concept of how long it takes things to cook, how long it takes them to get hot, and when it's too hot, and so forth. And this is part of the trick here with roasted chestnuts. Any cut you make in the coat of the nut, in the shell of the nut, is likely to widen and get bigger as the thing roasts. So that tiny little slit you make actually turns into a much bigger opening after the nut is roasted. Nuts have been on the very hot stove for 8 or 10 minutes, something like that. They make little hissing noises. You can hear the shells split. And this is the point at which you start to get that wonderful roasted chestnut aroma wafting about. There is something mysterious about the flavor of chestnuts. I have a sneaking suspicion there may be a undiscovered flavor here, like umami was undiscovered a decade or two ago. There is simply something about chestnuts that is addictive. They are delicious, and the aroma will get to you also. You can see that there are some dark spots on the shell. That's from direct contact with a very hot stove. If you leave them on long enough, you'll get a little dark spot on the nut meat inside, but frequently you can roast chestnuts until they're dark on the outside without any effects on the inside. These are about ready. Now you need to get them off of there without burning your fingers. If you have grandma fingers, you can pick them up and juggle them and get them into a dish. Otherwise, you may want to use tongs. They're hot. Now, you have to let these nuts cool before you handle them. They will certainly burn your fingers when they come right off the fire or out of a very hot oven. and your fingers will tell you when they are ready. Just like with the parboiled ones, if you let them get too cold, they become difficult and or impossible to peel, and you can reheat them if that happens. Otherwise, what you want to do is, as soon as they are cool enough that you can handle them, you want to crack that shell the rest of the way. Think of it as cracking an egg. There is a gorgeous chestnut. All in one piece, no crazy X. You can massage the shell a little bit to get that crack to spread, and then you just peel it out of there. It's very simple. No X, no bleeding fingers. Now these nutshells are hard and brittle, and both of those things are in your favor, but it does mean that if you are very clumsy, you might in fact cut yourself on one. These are not that sharp. Here's one that has the double skin, so we have to crack it twice to get it out, but we just have two perfectly good pieces there. And there are your beautiful chestnuts, all ready for making marrons glacés. There you go.